Hello, good evening. Yes, I've had lots of wind here. How's everyone doing? Last night the wind was so strong that we've got
Hello,
microwave.
Oops.
Yes, I've had lots of wind here. We've got microwave internet here, and it's an aerial on our roof. And last night it upset the microwave internet, so the wind was so strong. But it was a bit blowy earlier, but it's not so much now. And what did I have for dinner? I just ate an avocado with balsamic glaze on it. It was delicious. And I think I had something else, but I can't remember. Okay, so the wind is strong, but it's much better than it was last night, that's for sure. So hopefully the internet will hold up and will keep working, and so on. So poor old Alex in a hotel. My heart bleeds. Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin. This is the daily chart of Bitcoin. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at this sideways trading pattern that we're in. We could say that this was a wave 1, and we've had a big wave 2, and this is wave 1 of 3. So potentially we're looking for an ABC back, and then if this is a new uptrend and we have made a low, we should see a really strong move in this next swing higher. If, however, this is some kind of triple zigzag pattern and we've still got another leg lower to come, then potentially this is one of those 5-wave Elliott wave triangles or wedges. And if that's the case, then it's going to end up looking something like this. It's Elliott wave triangle. So we have A like this, A, B, C. We'll have a D down here probably, and then an E. Don't be surprised if it makes a marginal break, and then from there we would see one more leg lower. This pattern, this wedge pattern, tends to be in wave 4. It tends to be the move out of this triangle, tends to be the final leg of a downtrend. And if we went, we've got two good support levels, one at 3,000 and then 2,400 around there. So one of those two things are going to happen. So what happens next when we finish this next swing will be key. Now, where is this likely to end up? I think that we should see an ABC correction lower from here. So if we measure it like this from this spike low that we made over the weekend, down here, let's go down to a 4-hour and take a look. So I'm looking at BitMEX prices today. Your mileage may vary, particularly if you are at Bitfinex. Bitfinex, there seems to be a premium on most of the assets at Bitfinex. And, Binance against Tether, slightly different, but not much. Okay, so if the second swing lower is 61.8 of the first swing, then 35.50 and around these previous lows should be our first target. And if it's equal to this first swing, 33.56. If I've drawn this wrong, though, and this is a funky, irregular correction, it may be that this is a little bit higher. So when I see it like this and I'm not quite sure, I tend to put fib retracers on from these lows and see what lines up with what. And that tends to help. So I'm looking for this 618, 786, 886. There we go. Okay, so let's tidy up a bit here. Take them away. If we do this, then we move this back to that spike, then it kind of doesn't really line up with anything, this 618 level. But either way we do this, I think if we go from here, that this equal measured move lines up with the 886 fib retrace, and it lines up also with the big trend line where we've already got 2 touches from the lows. So I'm going to say that there is the potential for this swing to continue all the way lower to 3,400. So 3,423, I think, is where I'm going to be looking, and a touch of this lower trend line. Third touches of trend lines tend to be false breaks. By that I mean we tend to go over the line and then we'll come back and save it and it'll stop and reverse inside of the line. So even if this is a deep retrace of this, this is a wave 1, and even if this is a deep retrace, that won't happen obviously. But if this is a big triangle, you can expect third touches like this to go over and then hold inside, okay? John Wilson says, what's my view on the McGinley dynamic indicator? I don't have one. I need to try it out. I don't really have one at the moment. I need to test it. I can't remember. Okay, so this is Bitcoin. And we've got very, very similar pattern in ETH. Now, the one thing that might, before we go any further, the one thing that might stop this in Bitcoin is if this is that kind of, if this is a new wave, this is wave 1, 2, and this is wave 1 of a new wave 3, then a pullback between 50 and 61.8 would be where we would expect to find support. And this is exactly where we are. So potentially in this area here, we shouldn't go any lower. In other words, if we don't make a new low, if we don't drop below 36.60 and we make a double top, a double bottom, that would potentially be a much more bullish sign. So watch out for that. So the confirmation that we're going down to 3,300 or 3,400 area would be below 3,661. But really, you know, we're looking for little signs, aren't we, in a sideways consolidation. And if you want to be patient and if you're looking to invest for the long time, then really, you know, you want to see a solid bottoming pattern like a double bottom, something like that, or a breakout from the top of this wedge. So that's how I would do it. Okay. So I think we've got a very similar pattern going on in ETH. In ETH, we're at the 50% level from the low. So in ETH dollar, here we go, put regular candles on. There's a lot of support for ETH dollar here. We are at 50% back of the entire rally. If we move our fib retrace to here, we're at 61.8 of this swing. So that's quite a lot of confluence. We're also at a bit of a pivot level, highs and lows here through the middle. If you look, lows, lows, highs here, all these highs here at 125. And we've got the daily 50 moving average. So there is a lot of potential for this correction to be complete in ETH. If we measure the swings though, I'm not quite sure that we're looking quite so good. Let's see. This is the first leg and that's the second leg. And that kind of suggests that maybe we've got a little bit further to go. But I'm open to this being it and this pullback being done in ETH. That would be pretty good because if we go back to ETH outperforming Bitcoin, then we have a pretty nice alt season. One of the best indicators, I think, for alts doing well relative to Bitcoin is Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. So if we come and look at our ETH Bitcoin chart, we had a really nasty spike, didn't we, at the end of February? But this is really good support here for ETH Bitcoin. Really good support because we've got the daily 200 moving average. We've got above it, came back, and we're retesting it. And the daily 50 moving average. And, you know, it's not a shabby level through the middle either. So there we go. 61.8 of this rally from the lows here. So a lot to like about this. Let's see where we are in relation to this swing. Oops. For some reason my screen has frozen. Great. Let's see if I can. Sorry about this, guys. My screen is frozen. See if I can change tab. Let's go back to looking at ETH. Okay. So really good support potentially in ETH Bitcoin. So we could see a rally and another phase where Ethereum starts to outperform Bitcoin. But for the most part today, most coins, whichever ones you look at, here's like Lumen. We've been looking for a lot in Lumen. You know, most coins are in a pullback at the moment, most of them. So let's go and look at through the list and see what's going on. Litecoin has been a really good leading indicator for Bitcoin. Tytet says Bitcoin's going to the moon. I think it will eventually, but 9/11 inside job. Oh, this is a supercomputer. I just don't know why every night it does that. I have got like 35 pages of chart open, but I do have a ton of RAM. Alex Limpkin, who's in the chat, built this PC for me. Now, in Litecoin, Bitcoin, I'm even more bullish than Ethereum. And one of the main reasons is we've got bullish cross of all our moving averages. We're all pointing higher. Normally, when that happens, you should be able to buy pullbacks to the moving average and the trend should continue higher. What I also like about this is from this high to this low, we've exceeded the 236 fib here. And when you do that in Litecoin Bitcoin, that's at 12,405. When you do that, it usually acts as support. We shouldn't go back below it if the uptrend is going to continue. And we should look higher from here to the next fib levels, 13,771 and 15,916. Also, if we look at this price action, it does look a little bit toppy, I know, but it's sideways consolidation. To me, it's more bullish flag than it is, you know, head and shoulders pattern or anything like that. So bullish pennant, I should say. Now, bullish pennants, if you make equal legs, very often become bull flags. And so we would draw it this way. And so this level, this 11, I can't see it. I think it's 11,100. That's our support level. And the back test of this 236 fib. That's the worst case scenario I'm looking for in Litecoin before we carry on higher. If we take a quick peek at Litecoin dollar, then gosh, messy charts today. Okay. We've got the same thing, a similar pattern going on. We're consolidating at the highs. We're holding above the 200-day moving average. If I take this, if we say this is a leg 1 and this is a leg 3, then we're holding the 382 retrace support, which is very common for a wave 3. If I go it from the lows, we're still, if I draw it from the lows, we have potential to drop a little bit lower to 41.55 in a second swing. But either way, bullish consolidation in Litecoin, and I'm just waiting for this one to turn higher again. If I look at Litecoin, one lower down on a 4-hour chart, you know, if this was our first swing lower and this is a correction, then I could see a retest of the lows at 42.30 before we turn higher again. But I think it's bullish sideways consolidation, and a breakout of this flag would be awesome in Litecoin dollar or Litecoin Bitcoin. Okay, just have to wait for the correction to be over and hope that Bitcoin doesn't, you know, drop like a rock or drop the way stocks have been dropping today. That is actually one to keep an eye on, because we've seen it before, you know, when stock indexes have had a really nasty dump, that it will affect Bitcoin and Bitcoin will go down with it. So I want to keep an eye on. Next one, let's take a look at Monero. This has been very tricky, Monero. And if we look at Monero against Bitcoin, let's have a bit of a chart tidy up and just look at this sideways range that we've got going on. Now, big picture, if you use bounces in a downtrend to project your downside targets, then based on fib extensions, then we're doing pretty well. We're holding this 113 fib extension. There is room for us to go and break one more swing lower though, and if we do 11,420 and potentially a lot lower in this one, I'm just not convinced that we're going higher again yet. And one of them is, you know, these lows are pretty strong resistance. This is where we keep banging our head. If we get back above these levels, I might be tempted to buy into Monero and say, okay, you know, fair enough, we are going higher. But you can see where we're getting stuck. So just like when you have a big strong rally and then you go sideways close to the highs, we can call that bullish consolidation and a bull flag. Here we've got a really nasty downtrend and we've got sideways consolidation close to the lows. Until we start turning this around here in Monero, I'm going to say that, you know, we're still on the back foot and not really going anywhere. So let's try some fibs the other direction and see what might constitute a reversal. So we're going to take this most recent swing lower. We'll draw from this high to low here. And we'll see where that 236 fib comes in. Maybe that's where we keep getting rejected. It is around there. We can't really get above it, can we? So I'm afraid I don't like Monero until we get out of this sideways range. I think it's a great risk reward to be buying against the lows. And I think that and adding to your position when it breaks the highs. But in the middle with flat moving averages, there really is no trend. What that does mean for Monero though, is that whatever Bitcoin does, Monero does. So if you're pricing your Monero against Bitcoin and Bitcoin has a massive rally and this chart doesn't move, the value of your Monero has still gone up equal to however much in percentage terms the value of Bitcoin did. So, you know, having a flat chart against Bitcoin is no big deal. If you really want to see what's going on, you kind of measure it. If you measure it against fiat, then you're not affected by the Bitcoin moves. And in this, you can see we're still, unfortunately, on my messy chart down here, still going sideways at new lows and not really, you know, making any progress, are we? So I'm just going to go to the monthly chart of Monero. Now, there is one more fib that we could maybe see if we're sneaking in, but so you can see, you know, if we draw all the fib levels from this low to high, you can see it looks like we've run out, doesn't it? Because we're underneath the 886. Well, if the 786 is the square root of 618 and the 886 is the square root of 786, then the square root of 886, which would be our next level, is 942. So let's put in 942. 0.942. There we go. So that's going to be where our next potential, I'm going to make it darker so I can read it, and then I'm going to put it on the left so I can for sure read it. 34.16 in Monero dollar. So if we see one more push lower in XMR USD, that's where we'll be looking for, around 34. So until then, this does, I'm afraid, look like a bear flag in Monero dollar. And these wedge or triangle patterns, just like Bitcoin, tend to resolve with the trend, which is lower, and they tend to be the last swing. So we would see one more swing down out of this, and then that would be the bottom at 34. Okay, so next we're going to look at BCH and ADA. BCH, Bitcoin Cash. This has been pretty dire. We did for a little bit last week go back to that situation where we could see Bitcoin Cash ABC going higher and Bitcoin Cash SV going lower, but with the move yesterday and to overnight, we're back to them all going the same direction again. Now I'm just drawing these fibs this way, and I'm going to mark what I'm doing so you can see where we are. Potentially, we could be setting up a bullish Gartley pattern here, potentially. I'm just going to tidy up the chart. So I've gone from this low to this high, okay? When you have this and a bounce from a 618 fib level, and then you drop to the 786 next, that's always potentially a Gartley pattern. And then we need to do our fib projection from this 618 bounce. And if that lines up kind of around the 1272, around there, 1.618 there. So at the moment, we have a Gartley pattern here, which is a trend continuation. So 5 waves up or an ABC back is when they work best. So let's see. If I draw it for you like this, here would be like this. 618 up there like that. That's our Gartley pattern there like that. They are quite bullish, trend continuation. If you rally from here, then you should see new highs. That makes quite a lot of sense, because if this, even if this is just a correction in Bitcoin Cash, ABC, then if we measure from this low to this high and we project it from here and we make new highs, then it lines up with our target, which is back up here at back at these lows as well, 3,980,100. So a rally from here, that would be our target, 3,980,000. So now we have to watch for a bullish reversal from this level in Bitcoin Cash ABC. What's going to tell us that that's going to be a bullish reversal? I'm going to say going beyond the 236 fib off the lows. So that would do it for me. So let's make it bright. There we go. So if we rally from here back above 3,383,150, or let's make it much easier than that and say if we can rally above the low that we made on 28th of February or February lows, if we get back above the February lows, that will be another swing higher underway. We might wobble in the middle at 3,543,000, but we should look higher to 4 million target in Bitcoin Cash ABC if we can rally from here. So a lot of potential for Bitcoin Cash ABC. Let's see if we've got the same going on for Bitcoin Cash SV. Nobody specified which one they wanted. So this has been a bit of a declining wedge, hasn't it? If we connect these lows, I'm going to put regular candles here on the daily. When you see two big thrust candles like this, or a big thrust move, and then the price action on the pullback is really choppy, overlapping, and slows down, this says to me, you know, even if it's just a correction, remember corrections are usually 3 waves, so 1, 2, 3. So this says to me, get ready for another swing higher. Problem is, are we at a level where we could bounce from? We're at that 786 level in this one as well. It's just not quite as clear a pattern as it is in Bitcoin Cash ABC. But, you know, it looks like we bounced from the 618 and had a go. We did. So maybe we can see a bounce from here. And if we apply the same rules, we go bounce more than 23.6, which would mean above in Bitcoin Cash SV, above 17,392, then we would be looking for another swing higher. So one leg higher, deep pullback, second leg higher. If we do 2 equal swings in this one, so this is our first leg, like this, and this is our second leg, takes us back to these highs. So we're just kind of going in a sideways range, aren't we? But around a big fib level, and that would start to look more like a bottom as well if we could do that. So let's see, there's no guarantee that we can rally here. This one might just, you know, keep going lower. But if we get above that 236 fib retrace, then I would say take a look at it. So Not Brandon says, best coin to invest in right now. I kind of like Ethereum right now. I think the sell-off got a bit overdone. I think that it's not far off, you know, a level where we could put our toe in. You know, investing implies, you know, putting it away in a drawer and leaving it as like a little nest egg. So I would say I'm not convinced that we've got a bottom yet. So I think there's a lot of potential, but I'm not convinced it's a bottom yet. So I would hold off investing, and I would try maybe a little bit of, yeah, I would maybe buy a little. I think that the downside is limited and the upside has a lot more potential. So if you're okay investing with it going down a little bit, then fine, go ahead. But I would start with the big ones. Although I really do like BNB in the way it's trading. BNB. So let's take a look at ADA. Everyone's favorite. Now, I don't think that this is the bottom in ADA. And one of the main reasons, this is ADA against Bitcoin. One of the main reasons is, and this is a daily chart, this rally was an ABC equal measured move, which implies a correction. That was the rally that we made off the December low. What we could see though is a ABC rally up, an ABC rally back, and then one more leg higher. That would be quite common. When we finish that, we will then have what looks like an inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then you know, people might start getting more excited about ADA, but I'm not at the moment saying this is a low and we should pile into this one. So if at a minimum, I think we're headed lower. If we at a minimum do 61.8 of the first leg, we'll retest 1039. If we make a big equal measured move going back, we'll come back to 925 in ADA Bitcoin. We're brawling off bearish moving averages. You know, we've got rejected twice at the 200-day. I would say if you've got some in your bag, it might be time to move it into something else and try again in ADA later. So I'm not feeling it. And I think we've got more downside. Sorry about that. Okay, WABI waves. What a lovely, this coin is traded so nicely. When it trends, it really properly trends. So let's take a look at where we are in this one. You know, on a weekly down, the way we determine trend is we make, in a downtrend, we make lower lows and lower highs, and then lower lows and lower highs. And when we make an uptrend, we reverse that. We make higher lows and higher highs. So in order to reverse this big, long downtrend that we were in waves, on the weekly, we had to get above these highs here at 94,000. And although we had a good look above them, we couldn't quite close above them, which is really frustrating. What we need to see now is a nice shallow pullback and then waves take out this level. I'm going to take the weekly close as the high rather than this spike high. But it's around here. 93,000, 94,000. So we're looking for waves to rally from this sideways consolidation and retest that 93,000, 94,000 level. So far so good. Big double bottom forming if we can hold the support here. Just a matter of timing now and momentum. If this was a big wave, 1, 2, 3, I can definitely see 3 waves up. We're in a long wave 4. Here we are kind of sitting at 50% of this swing, or really 50% of the whole swing. So a good place to rally from. It's just kind of mooching, isn't it? Sideways. If we lose this support, then I think we're going to see another big swing lower, and the daily 200 moving average is where we're headed to. So I wouldn't, for me, I would just like to see a big move that holds and then follows through before I jump in. I've seen a couple of big move days. For example, we had one here on the 1st of March, but no follow through, no break of the upside. We've just been inside days since then. So time for us to get a move on in and turn up again in waves or while there's. So how am I going to trade this? You know, I'm going to put fib on from this high to low here. I'm going to mark this 236 fib level, and I'm going to put my alert on that, and that's going to be at 72,224. So there, that will tell me that waves is on the move higher again. I wouldn't, and I wouldn't be sitting long now. You know, I think a lot of this is people's stops. They've been running the stops underneath these lows. Maybe we're done now and we can finally get on with it and rally, let's hope. So that's my alert, and I would buy waves above 72,300, I think. Okay. I wouldn't short what seems to be a long settled bottom. No. I'm a huge fan of retests, okay? In all of these moves, if we go down to, say, an hourly, you can see all of these moves here. Each time we got underneath this level, we spiked right back up again. If we had got underneath this level, if we do it now, and then we find resistance here and we roll over again, then you can say, you know what? If we break the lows under here now, having got rejected at the level, that would be a short setup. But it just looks like it's nicking people's shorts. So there we go, in waves. Lots of potential. Nice 50% pullback. Should have a lot of upside in waves, okay? Is short on ADA on BitMEX an option? It is. It is. I think that there are some better options, but yes, sell little pullback. Like if you're selling it though, you want to sell little, like this little rally here, wait for it to roll over again. Like I love Haikanashi for this. You can see when it's rolling over again. But I agree. I actually agree with Sean Dangio. I think it's more likely that we're building a base. So, but if you're looking for short-term trades, yeah, most of them seems to be in another push lower. So let's look at ZRX. Can't remember who asked for this one, but it's kind of quite important support here. Okay, because if we look at corrective bounces and a downtrend, and we use them to project our next levels, okay, so here are the big swings. If we move this, for example, here, normally we're looking for 1272, we're looking for 1272 or 1.618 for projections, okay. And 1272 is normal. 113 is one of those levels if you make a marginal new low and then it'll keep going. So if we did from this low to this high, let me just put the line on so you can see where I draw it. I went from this low to this high. It gave us 1272 as the low. If you put an order there, that was perfect. So now we move it down to this next correction. We've got the bounce. Okay, and we've got our same fib levels going lower. We've been resting on this 1.13 fib level. We bounced up and retested this low. We've been rejected off it twice now at 7,300. So I think that there's a good chance that we continue lower from here, and the next fib level then becomes 4,891. And potentially if we go to the 1.618 of this rally, then 1821. But I think 4891 more likely, but you know, I'm open to it. If we try and draw it as a channel, now I'm going to do one of those funky things where I take it off the highs first. So trying to get as many touches as possible. That doesn't work. Okay. Yeah. I'm still going to go with the 1272. And you know why? Because if I look left at the structure, there's a lot more support and resistance down here as well. It would be a retest of this spike low. You you know, so I think 4,800 has got a lot more to recommend it as the next target if 6151 breaks in ZRX. We haven't quite broken it yet, but we're underneath it today, and if we can't get back above it, lower is where we're going. 6151. You can see how we broke down here. When we break down, we got back above the level. That was all cool. Now we're underneath it. If we can't get back above it today, we're headed lower in ZRX Bitcoin. So if you tried to buy it and it's dropped and lost the support, this is your opportunity. If we go red, to get out, and down we would go 48.91. Okay, ICX. I got quite excited about ICX earlier today. I'm just going to quickly look at this hourly one here. Okay, because I'm looking for an equal measured move in ICX and see if we can make a move higher. I thought we could do it a bit higher up this morning, but no banana in this one. In fact, in the daily, we've come all the way back to retest the daily 20 moving average. So really good support in terms of daily moving averages. Pretty good support if it's an ABC correction here. And, you know, if we look left, we're retesting the inverted head and shoulders pattern neckline as well, almost. We don't really want to go back below that. If we do, and if we go back below sort of 0.255, I'm looking at the US dollar, then we're still in a big range trade and we haven't broken out at all, which would be... So back below this 20 moving average, I would get out of ICX because I think we could go all the way back to these lows again. This, though, if we're going to just... If we've done our sort of bottom, this is where I'm looking for us to find support. So this ABC level becomes important, and this ABC pattern. So confirmation that we've turned it around and going higher again. I'm going to use the 236 fib level, and we're just testing it now. 0.27524 in ICX US dollar. Let's see if ICX Bitcoin now ICX Bitcoin, let's take a look at this, because I'm just going to add in no, that's not there either. Okay, now this looks much more bullish. Although we've been rejected at the 200 moving average, you know, the first time back to a big moving average like that, you do expect it to bounce off. That's completely normal. Okay, but if I measure this first leg higher, this first really impulsive looking swing higher here like this, and then I see this leg, you know, we almost got to 1.618, and I'm kind of, if I look underneath, let's see, maybe I'm reading too much into it. It's kind of got the 5-wave look to me, that's all I'm saying. And so potentially another ABC correction here, we could see a 5th wave higher, and then maybe we've got a decent bottom and a move above the 200-day moving average. So ICX Bitcoin, if we do the same thing, you know, we're looking for an ABC pullbacks, aren't we? This is where we've got 61.8 of the first one. So a rally from here, and another attempt at the 200-day moving average, I think, could be a good thing. Let's see. So it's 50% of this swing. That's a very common retrace level for any market, 50% back if we're going to keep trending higher. That's where we're sitting, 50% of this swing. If we look back at this first swing, it just happens a lot, 50%. If we look back at this first swing, we pull back to the 50% and then we rallied higher. So we're just looking to repeat this again with this swing, back to 50% and rally higher. You can see what often happens as well. First time, you don't necessarily launch, you'll go 50% the other way and come back and then make a double bottom. That's very common. But this level, 706, ICX Bitcoin is a good level for a pullback and a new swing higher. I'll try and do ZIL at the end if I've got time. Yeah, so keep an eye on ICX. Next, we're going to look at OMG. Here we go. It's not been on my radar for a while, unfortunately. Now, this is one of those, here's a good lesson about declining wedges and channels, okay? Because initially, a lot of people will draw this in OMG as a declining wedge. And it was a nice declining wedge. It had a kind of good declining wedge look if we do it like this, a little bit like, take that high. So we've got this high, and then this high. So this did look like one of those genuine ones. When declining wedges fail though, if you put take the lows off the other side, and we've got 4 touches on this side, I'm just going to make sure I've lined it up properly. Take this off. Okay, so we break out, you buy the breakout, happy days. You put your fibs on from this high to low. You're always going to be wary at sort of 50% area. But the other place that I use, or my favorite way, is to see this. I make a parallel of this lower line like this by cloning it and then project it from the highs. And that's very often where you'll meet resistance if it's going to be a parallel channel. And that's not in any textbook. That's just, you know. So this is where we've got rejected. Our next hope here, I think, in OMG, having done, yeah, I think a retest of the lows and potentially a double bottom or a higher low. We need to see it turn higher from something like that. At the moment, we haven't got enough of anything to call this a base. It's just consolidation in a downtrend, okay? That's all we've got. Now, if we do the same exercise, where might we find support? If we use this like this, again, potentially we're at a level where we might bounce from here, but haven't done enough, you know, and we're underneath all of these moving averages and everything looks pretty gruesome. So when it looks like that, for me, the only way I trust is a 236 fib. And I'm going to put it on again here. So you put it on like this. So in OMG, that means 322 OMG Bitcoin. If we get back above 322, we're going higher again. Okay, and you kind of move it down. So put it on the highs, and then, so if we make a new low, we come down here, and we come down here, then you move your 236 fib confirmation level down with you. Okay. So above 322, from here, I think OMG would be in a turn higher, but otherwise, yeah, not feeling it yet. So yeah, we'll do Raven. Hasn't Raven been interesting? We'll definitely do it. Okay, next one. WAN and WABI. These two are so cool. WAN and WABI. We're going to start with WAN. So after a long decline in WAN, here we are, bumping along the bottom, trying to make a base and get out of here. So far, so good. But we haven't broken the trend. So what we've done is go sideways. You see this a lot, okay? So in a downtrend, the market has 3 directions. It goes up, it goes down, or it goes sideways. So here we tried to rally. We couldn't get out. We go sideways for a bit, and then where we break out from these sideways ranges says which way's next. So here we did this here, and it ended up we broke the lows and we carry on lower, you know. And so we've got another one of these sideways ranges. We've got 2 touches on the top side, 2 touches on the bottom side, so we can draw a valid trend line here and say this is our rectangle or our box that we're in, and a breakout from this will be a move. Okay, if we triple bottom here, you know, and when you're in a range like this, the way to trade it, even short term, is to buy the bottom, sell the high until we break out, and plan on it holding. Because just think, if we do an ABC correction here, we should, because that's slightly lower, we'll make a marginal, you know. So we've gone ABC, and then we could go up again. So something like that. So sideways range, no reversal yet. And again, where did this come? If this is the most recent swing lower, here. Oh no. Okay, you'll just have to take my word that this was 50%. Okay. Just going to reload the tab. I don't know why. Let's do WABI. Circle of Death. I might have to skip over some coins and go back. This is, I'm just having one of those really unlucky days. Yeah, there we go. It's all died. Good. 1 second. Look at that, my cursing worked. It's come back. Okay. So we've done WAN chain. Now we're going to do WABI. And then ENG. Hooray! Here we go. I can't believe I'm so happy that this is working. Now this is another one in sideways consolidation. I'm going to clean up my chart. It's so messy. Really, we should take these as horizontal highs. I think in this one, because they seem to be working a little bit better, but it's clear these bunched up moving averages and these lower trend lines are the important support, and as long as we hold above them on the daily, we should look to go higher, have another crack at this resistance that we keep failing at 5,100, and see if we can get going. 5,100 is the structural resistance and these closes, but 5,336 is where the fib is. So I like this one. I'm saying we go higher. One of the best ways is if I draw from this high to the low, then we've gone beyond the 50%. The problem is, if we look low time frame, is we've reversed at a 786, and that usually means back to the 382. So tidy up. There we go. So here, from this high to this low, we reverse to the 786. When you do that, you usually come back to the 382. So our support and the level we could look to buy WABI back against, or tail, TAL, but still WABI, isn't it? Is 3950, 3948. Now, if we look at lower time frame, lines up with the hourly 200 moving average. There's a lot to like there. So 39.48, I think, is where we should see some support for WABI, and then another go at a swing higher and a retest of that resistance at 5,300 on the daily. And if we draw this left, look, lots of support and resistance around this level. It's not quite perfect, but there we go. Lots to recommend it. So pull back in WABI, but I'm expecting it to go higher and retest 5,300 again. And if we can take out 5,300, our target is 74.70. 74.70. When you get and you hold above all of these bunched up daily moving averages like this, it usually predicts a really strong move. So fingers crossed. Another way to put an alarm and not miss this, like if we draw it like this, we've broken out, but let's do it like that, and I'm going to put my alert there. Make sure I don't miss WABI. Okay, next one. So WAN and WABI looking quite good. ENG has been very tempting. Enigma. Why has it been so tempting? Because since it did this and made this big spike, I've been looking for ENG to be a big inverted head and shoulders pattern. It's a classic for me, Adam and Eve. Look at this spike low that we made, and this is this rounded retest of it on a bottom. The problem is the resistance. Let's hide this for a second. Okay, if we just look at the fib retraces, okay, from this low to this high, I'm trying to add the trend lines in so people can see where I've drawn them. There, I drew it from this low to this high. Very often, more often than you'd think, the 886 getting back tested, the 886 fib level, is very often really strong resistance, and ENG is a really good example of this. If we just put this 886 fib, look, we tested it, couldn't close above it, tested, couldn't close above it, couldn't close above it, tested it exactly. So 91.75 is really strong resistance. Then if I put back in my fib levels, oh, well, I've moved it. There we go. Then I'm going to put back in fib levels from this high to this spike low, like this. These are the ones in red, so I'm going to mark where that goes so you can see. So I've drawn them from this high to this low. Then the 236 fib, which is our trend guide, you can see lines up with this 886, and this is where we're stuck. So it becomes really important resistance between 9,200 and 9,300. And when we get above this, boy, should Enigma move. But if we can't, we haven't reversed the trend. We're doing this sideways dance with these daily moving averages at the moment. We're making a big fat wedge that you can see on the 4-hour, and this is where we need to break out from. So here's our lows. And this is what I mean about sideways consolidation as well here. So we need a breakout, basically. There's the highs and horizontal lows we're holding, because if we break these lows, we break the trend. At the moment, you know, each one of these swing lows makes a higher low. If we break it, we've reversed it. So this is why this level is sticking. She's probably a 50% as well, if I chuck that in here. There it is. Around there anyway. So yeah, sideways range, looking for a breakout of the top in Enigma, and a close above 9,100, well, 9,000, let's call it 300, and then we've got our game on. And we're going to go back to these highs here where we keep stalling at 11,300. So 9,300 to 11,300, that's a pretty nice 20% trade just to resistance. And if we break this resistance, then our next target is 1454. So then it becomes a really nice trade if we can break out in ENG, Enigma. Let's see. Next one we're going to look at. Anyway, I can't tell you in my group how many days, each time it threatens these resistance, we all look at it and say, okay, everybody watch this one. And then it doesn't break out. It's really frustrating. I'm sure it will eventually. Okay, now we're going to look at one I haven't looked at for a couple of weeks, TRX. Now in TRX, we were looking for an ABC correction back to 50% of this swing. So in TRX, I kind of feel like this is a wave 1, this is a wave 2 ABC, and this move here was 5 waves, and now we've done a big ABC correction. We should start going higher again. We've saved the day today at the 50% of this low to high, perfectly, 573. And if I put this is a 100 moving average. I don't use this for my day-to-day trading unless it's on the daily, but on the daily chart, especially in Bitcoin, it's been very, very useful. So this is a really good level for Tron, TRX, to rally from. Now, not everyone is a big fan of Tron, and I must admit I've been a bit snooty about it in the past, but a chart is a chart, and we could rally from here. So let's take off this 50%. If we're going to fail, okay, we're going to 50% mean reverting markets that do 50% things tend to stall at 50% going the other way. Oops, chart frozen again. Let's try that again. So 50% could be a bit of a trouble area in Tron. That's up here. What we could see then is, and this is quite a common pattern, is a rally to 50%. Sellers will bail out there. We'll see a bit of a pullback before maybe we carry on higher. But then TRX, so 706 would be my first upside target. Watch for a pullback then that doesn't make a new low, and then next leg is 1041, which is 61.8 of this correction. Now, what would be the confirmation level that TRX is going higher? 236 fib off the lows. Let's do that. And that is here at 628. So we're looking for a close above 628 to confirm this as a bottom in TRX. Okay. PIVX is next. This is another one. Horrible sideways range. I'm going to go to the daily. That was a 4-hour chart. So I want to be bullish of PIVX because of these moving averages. We're holding support beautifully of this 200 moving average. And here we are stuck in that range between the 61.8 and the 38.2. So we've made a really nice correction, but between the 61.8 and 38.2 fib levels tend to be that kind of golden ratio zone where the market likes to consolidate, find balance. If we drop out the bottom, so if we drop below 17,877, we will go to the 786, which is a 1483, and these lows, that will be our downside target if we break from this consolidation range downside. But I think that's very unlikely. I think it's very unlikely actually that we break the 200 moving average because this reaction has been so perfect. What I'm looking for now then is this to break to the upside. We could draw this as we could draw like this, and if we do, then we just tested the highs today. Third touch, marginal, false breakout, and this is what you expect. You don't expect markets to break out normally on a third touch. They normally stay within. But the way to be super sure we're going higher is above this 382. So I'm going to say, you know, today in all of this consolidation, look, we couldn't close above this 50 moving average. We tried right here. Today we have. I think that this should carry on higher on pullbacks. That's how I'm going to be trading it, this next pullback. And I'm going to look for it to go back to those highs at 22,100 and see if we can break out this time. So PIVX, lots of potential. Doesn't seem to care about Bitcoin too much. Okay, so where are we going to go on this swing? Well, I think if we go big picture, let's go to a weekly chart of PIVX. And if we look at our weekly chart, we can say that from this spike high, the 236 fib is here at 42,133. That's clearly too far. So let's take this most recent swing lower. And we can see that the 236 fib from these highs before was where we got stuck. So 2588, this is what our resistance is. And then if we get above this, we should go 50% next. So our targets are going to be 25,888 and then 42,540 in PIVX. We should put the 382 fib in there. I'm not discriminating against it. There we are. We've got a wobble level in the middle at 35,000. So that's PIVX. Next one we're going to look at. Funny how that 236 fib works, doesn't it? Look, twice, just stopped it dead. I think it's, you know, fibs only work because other people look at them. And if you bought it, and everybody knows that that's where you stay in a downtrend, so it's profit taking that stops the market there. That's all. People that speculatively bought it will take profit there. EOS is next. Now, if I do a coin and you want it against the dollar, just say something, okay? So let's go start with the weekly chart in EOS and regular candles. Because we've got a little bit of a problem going on here with this weekly 50 moving average. That was a bit of a game stopped us dead. What I'm a bit concerned about in EOS as well is that this 5 waves down. However, this looks quite a bullish rally off these lows, and the reason I think that it might be quite a bullish rally is this second leg is so much longer than the first leg, 1.618, and that very often is a kind of suggests 5 waves. So it's not quite, you can see it just got a little bit there if I do it there. So A, B, and then this leg was 1.618 almost to the tick of the first leg. That usually suggests this is a wave 3 and we could see one more swing higher. If that's the case, the most common retrace level of this would be 38.2. So, sorry, everything is keeps freezing. I'm sorry. Here we go. Right. 38.2 or 50%. So here we are at 50% of this swing. So, you know, potentially this low that we made today might be it. Sometimes though, we'll mark the 618 because you kind of need sometimes you need a bit more of correction. So let's go down and measure the legs. If this second swing is 1.618 of the first swing, then happy days. And you know what? It almost is. If we put it from this high, it pretty much is. So we could see that the correction is over here for EOS at this 50% level. Again, how are we going to know? I'm just going to say, okay, if we go, let's take these fibs away. If we go more than the 236 fib going the other direction, I'll like it. 89.58. Okay, above 89.58, we're probably going back to these highs at 95.60, and then above 95.60, we should see a new swing higher in EOS Bitcoin. That's how this one is looking to me. So another swing higher in EOS Bitcoin. Let's go back to our big chart. Take them away. Closing back above that 20 moving average today would be a good sign in EOS as well. Okay, we'll put our fibs on from this high to low. Okay. Right then, we need to go back and retest 93.65, and if we can get above it, this next leg higher should take us to 12.238. So 9365 short-term resistance, and then 12.238. Come on, EOS. Hey Nick, what did I eat for dinner? I had a avocado with balsamic glaze. Do I think the bottom is in? I think that there's potential for the bottom to be in. I'm going to recap Bitcoin again at the end. I'm just going to race on and keep doing some more first. But I think that there's potential. What we need is a bit more evidence, really. The problem is that if we end up in a triangle or a wedge pattern, I think that we will retest the low. So there isn't any reason to pile in yet. You know, if we retest the low and hold it and it makes a double bottom or a little swing failure pattern where we make a tiny kind of lower low and then jump sharply, then yeah, you know, or if, like I said, if we see a really sharp, if we've got a little bit further to fall, but if then we see a really strong rally and a wave 3 of 3 kind of impulsive, really take everyone by surprise move, then I'm going to say, yeah, it probably is. So the market's going to tell us soon. And there'll be lots of opportunities to get in, you know, lots of opportunities to get in. Okay, RCN is next. which is Ripio Credit Network. Now, we've talked before about how 50% levels can be really tricky. Let's go back in this time in this coin. Okay, we'll look at each swing in Ripio Credit and say, is the 50% a big deal? Okay, let's look at this first move lower that we did. That 50% when we bounced was a big deal. So then let's look at this next swing lower here. Gosh, it's hard to see where it went to, isn't it? Okay, that's not a very good example. But yeah, 50% and 50%. In this case, if let's go to Ripio, sorry, screen frozen, then it moved. Here we go. So from this high to the low, this is our big 50% level here. And if I go from this high to the low, this is our big 50% level here. So this obviously becomes really clear that we need to get above 17,264. And if we go down to a 4A, you can see we're making this really nice bull flag or bullish pennant, if you like. Now, A, B, C, D, E. If this is an Elliott wave triangle, that's what it will do. So let's draw it like this. So far we've got 2 touches, but so we might see a bit of this. And then this third one, remember third touch, very often false break. So expect a false break, third touch of trend line. And then if we recover from here, up we go. That is a possible pattern here from this bullish pennant. If we don't do that, okay, and if we just break out higher here, that's fine too. It's still tradable. Even if you miss the breakout, okay, you will still always get a 15-minute retest or a 5-minute pullback retest. So that's what I'd be looking for. We've got to get above this level, 17,000 level, 17,264 in Ripio. And then let's, back to these highs. This high in the middle here, this is what will change the trend, but more likely this high, because this high is our daily swing high. When we go above that, we've reversed the daily downtrend. And interesting, isn't it? If we measure this leg from here to this high of the spike, and we project it from this low that we've got here, that's where we end up. So 28,240. So when you look at, when you trade the breakout in RCN above 17,264, then your target is 2840. Okay, take profit there because it will be a ABC pattern. Leon, Blue Zal, we looked at Blue Zal in my group last night. I will try and tag it on the end. And if we look at it, it's because I think it's an interesting chart. So we'll try and see if we've got time to do as many as we can at the end. So BAT and WTC is next. So here we go, basic attention token. Maybe I should try and go a little bit quicker. Sometimes I'm not very fast. Now, I kind of like this one to keep going. First reason. First reason, or will be, is if we can go beyond this damn 50% like mean reverting level, 44.81. We're going sideways at it. So again, let's draw it as a bullish pennant. We'll wait for a break of the upside. Okay. I actually think that this is not a 50%, but it's a 61.8, 38.2 thing, isn't it? So this means that this is the top of our range here. We'll draw it like this with the closes prices, and this is the bottom of our range. So I don't know which way we'll break out, but I believe it should be to the upside. And if we do, then I'm looking for a third touch of this trend line, watch out there, and potentially a breakout. If we make new highs above these highs, and let's draw where the lowest one is. So we're stuck in this sideways range, waiting for a breakout in basic attention token. And if we do, then our first stop is going to be 5,550, which is where all these highs line up. And then, hopefully, new highs. It's just a sideways range otherwise. Like, we could say, yeah, it's just a sideways range, really. I'm going to draw it lower like this. It's nothing to do until we break out of it in basic attention token. So I think if we do not make any new high, and if we, this box that I've drawn, if we drop out of the lower half of it, then it just means that we've gone A, B, and we're going to do another leg to the bottom of the, here again. So real proper no man's land, wait and see which way we break out of this in basic attention token. Now remember, flat, if this is, so big picture, what's basic attention token really doing? It's just kind of oscillating sideways, isn't it? Going flat with Bitcoin. Well, if it's going flat against Bitcoin and Bitcoin does make a big rally later this year, then, you know, basic attention token goes up in value too. So, tic-tac, oh, I've had my fair share of pain in the markets. Trust me, I've learnt the hard way. Look, you always think when you learn to trade or the market beats you up that you're the only one, or you must be really stupid, or why did you do that? Or why did you tap that trade and take that one and not this one? And you always think you're the only one it happens to, and it's all of us. It's the hardest thing you'll ever learn. It's really, but when you do, it's a great feeling. So that's basic attention token. WTC has been on the radar this week as well, hasn't it? Then we will have looked at every chart on this page, so we might as well look at, gosh, that's 1 second. I lost it. There we go. It's not there. I got stuff out of order. My mistake. I'm going to look at WTC here. Walton. This is Walton dollar, because this is one of those charts, you know, it looked quite interesting, Walton, against Bitcoin. This is what I mean. And so you can get quite excited and say, and then you really want to look at what the dollar's doing and see. Now, 942, remember I spoke earlier about that extra fib, which is the square root of 886. It looks like we're underneath this fib and got rejected again here. So although this is a sideways range, this is a sideways range in Walton with a midline, which is support when you're above it and resistance when you're underneath it. Look, support here and now resistance, resistance, resistance. So first stop that we need to get above is 31.25. And if we can do that, then, sorry about that if you've got headphones on, it should stop. So sideways in a downtrend in Walton, and I don't see a reason to buy this yet. And in fact, I kind of makes me nervous because this looks like a swing lower, A, B, C, and now we're going to carry on lower and retest the lows in Walton. So, and the lows mean, you know, 2000 area, don't they? Down here. So, yeah, not feeling it. I was feeling it. If I thought we could break out, and these daily moving averages looked really good. And you know, if we hold above the 50 and we have another go, so if we close tonight around 2,880 and then we have another go and then get above 3,125 again, I'm going to be yay. And then we'll see if we can break the level here in the middle, and then we've got a reversal going on. But at the moment, it's just a bear flag. This looks like a bear flag in a downtrend. And if we clone this, then yeah, it's not quite alluring, is it? Okay, I haven't done Raven. It wasn't on the list, but I'm going to do I'm going to do it in the order at the top, and then we'll add requests on the end. So I'm going to add Raven. Okay, no, I didn't forget it. There's so many. Okay, new economic. Let's do NEM next. Now, I'm not a fan of this coin. I'm going to say this up front. I'm not really a fan of them, and one of the reasons is they need to raise money, and I think that this is why this chart looks so awful. So downtrend, ABC rally back to the moving averages. See how ever since really November, this daily 50 moving average has been resistance, resistance here, resistance, resistance again, and now we're rolling over for another leg lower. So yeah, I've got no reason to buy this until this retests the lows now, and I've run out of fib supports. This 942 was a maybe if we could get back above it, and we haven't been able to. So, you know, each big correction, I look for the fib extensions and where they all line up. And that didn't work, so yeah, so this most recent one here, this most recent low to high, I should put the thing on how I drew it. There, I drew it like that. From here to here, we hit the target of the 1.618. Now we're continuing lower again. So we're going to move our fib correction down to this most recent bounce in the downtrend. Okay, like this. And if we make a new low, we're going to look for 0.022. So that 1.618 extension. Next, 0.02296. And then the 2.618, if we continue, is at the previous lows. So I can't see any reason to get in to NEM. And if you're holding some in your bag, there is some potential. Now, sometimes sometimes corrections, sometimes although this looks like we've done an ABC already completed, sometimes it's just the first in a bigger ABC. So we could do this, and then the market makes another leg higher like this before we roll over lower again. And if that happens, measure the swing and get out, because this is a horrid downtrend. Horrid downtrend. To buy this, I would like to see at the very least a double bottom. And look, every low gets retested in this one. I'd like to see a double bottom or some kind of a base, or if you don't get that, in the alternative, I'd like to see a really powerful move higher that makes everybody go whoa and closes above the daily 50 moving average. So sell it and then get back in if that happens, if you really want to be in it. But for now, I think we're headed lower. Sorry. AION is next. Okay. And I hate to say this one, but AION is still in a downtrend as well. Let's zoom out a bit. We'll fit it all on. So we've gone sideways here, haven't we, at these lows? Everything was looking like maybe we could really make a base and turn higher, but we just haven't managed to recover and enough of these daily moving averages and turn the trend around. Here, this is what I mean about an ABC. I've got an alarm on that trend line. I'll do it again. This is what I mean about an ABC correction. 2 equal swings. So this leg here like this, projected from here was equal, and then the downtrend resumed again. And you see that very, very often, either equal or 61.8. And so we're still in a downtrend here. Where are we going to go? Let's measure from this big ABC here, where the 1.618 is. Okay, so, and the 1272. So this was the 1272 at 272. So if this holds on a retest and makes a double bottom, good chance of a bottom and at least a move up. Okay, so look for 272 to be retested. But if 272 breaks, we will go to 214 next. Sorry, but it's not, that's, you know, let's see if there's any. Sometimes we can do the big ones like this. Yeah, we've gone beyond that. And then we'll take this one. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, sorry. So market has to just really do something to say, yeah, this is I've made a bottom here. So this is quite a bullish harami. So this is a bullish inside day. Whenever you get an inside bar like this, or that closes more than 50% up of the previous down candle, that's quite a bullish reversal candle, but only if we break the high and see some follow on. And we've had a couple of these bullish candles, bullish snapback candles in this that haven't followed through. So we can say that if we go back above last week's high, so back above 321, we've made a bottom. You know, this is would be a bullish follow on, but for now, yeah. If this weekly, if we just held here, didn't make a new low, only came back 50% of this green candle, then rallied again and got back above 321, that would have a decent bullish look to it. But have to wait and see, let it play out. For now, still in a downtrend in AION Bitcoin. ZEC, sorry about not better news. I'll just stop apologising. It's not, I guess it's not. Okay. Oh, here's a little blue zal. This is why we're looking at it. It's got a really good rounded bottoming look, hasn't it? Blue zal. We'll come back to that. Okay, we're going to do ZEC and then rep. So Zcash, ZEC on the daily. Now, spike lows in markets very often get retested. And we had this horrific spike low last September, and it got retested, and we bounced off it pretty nicely with a spike, obviously. We're going to retest it again. I think it's becoming really important that we see this hold now on this retest. If we look on lower time frames in ZEC, we want to see the moving averages start to flatten out and bunch up on the hourly. At the moment, even on hourly moving averages, we're still in a downtrend and still risk this being, you know, a bear flag and one more swing lower. So until we retest 12,775 and see if we hold it, and don't be surprised if we see a swing failure pattern. This was one here, but we might see a, you know, we might retest these low lows as well. And then I think, you know, it's amazing support. If we're going to rally ever, this would be a good place to have a go at it. So we're going to take the most recent swing lower, which is from this high, and our confirmation that we've made a bottom and we're going to go up again is back above this 236 fib. And that is this previous high and 14,904. So when you buy against this low, if you get that bullish reversal price action, you're looking for 0.014904, and then above there, that will be the reversal. So that's, if we stay below that level, we're still unfortunately in a downtrend. Okay, REP rep is next. Everything's gone. Rep. I was charting rep eth because it's easier to chart here. And I kind of really like rep, so I know why we're looking at it. So this previous high is pretty nice support and resistance. And also I've got my Heikin-Ashi candles on. I'll put regular ones on. Rep eth. This level that we're bouncing from here is an ABC equal measured move in rep against Ethereum. So ABC. So if we go more than the 236 going higher, we've made a corrective move and we're looking for another leg higher and hopefully new highs. So when you make an ABC like this, you put your fibs on both swings. So 0.010440, so above these previous lows is our reversal in rep eth. Bullish ABC and looking quite good for it. So let's zoom out again as soon as I get this back. Let's see. Sorry. Right. I'm just going to get a rep Bitcoin. Now in rep Bitcoin, when we first attempted to rally from the end of the year, we got stuck at the 236 fib from this high up here. So we didn't reverse the downtrend. There it is, okay? So we did the fibs from this high to this low, and the 236 was where we got stuck. Now we're doing kind of a corrective move, and I think that we're setting up to have another go. So far, so good. And if I measure from these lows, I think we're looking at holding on at 50% and trying to, or 61.8, and trying to get some momentum together. And in fact, it is the 61.8. Okay, so good support at 315,700 in rep Bitcoin. I think this is an ABC pattern in this one, where also we have got 61.8 on this. Okay, I might have to quit if this doesn't start behaving. Sorry. Such a lag. There we go. So there you can see this swing lower projected from this high. Wait, no, here we go. This high. We've made an ABC correction in this one as well. So that means if we go fibs from this high to low as well in rep Bitcoin, and if we get above the 236 fib level here, which is 371,559, then we can look for a swing higher. So back above that. This is a 4-hour chart. That's what we'd be looking for. So the daily 50 moving average, if we can get back above the daily 50 moving average at 371,559, we will go back to the highs and retest 495,000, and then this time hopefully do it. So this would then be a big wave one, an ABC pullback, next leg higher. Our targets then are 697,160 and then 860,000, which would be 50% of the big drop. That second target, 860,000. Let's see. So looking better than you would think at first glance in rep, maybe from here. Okay, I'm going to do ONT and then ALF. Ontology. Another one in a pullback. I was a bit disappointed that Ontology didn't hold the 200 moving average, but there's that silly fib rule. Okay, I've drawn my fibs in this one on the most recent swing lower, like this. So you can see I've drawn from here to here because that's the most recent clear swing. Okay, and you can see that we validated it by testing this 236 pretty nicely, but we've reversed at the 786. When you reverse at a 786 fib, you usually go back to the 382, 2080. So we're nearly back there. Sometimes you come back to the 236, but the 382 is almost like a guaranteed. So potentially we've got support at 2080 in ONT Bitcoin, and if we don't and we drop lower, 1803, and we should rally back at least 50% from there. So if we drop to here, we'll go back at least 50% higher. If we drop down here, we'll go back at least 50% and sort of back to the mid 2200s. And then let's see what happens from there. But that's how this tends to work. Back above the 200-day would be really good. But anyway, now if I extend this, so it was the 786 from this fib, was this from this swing, wasn't it? If I do this big swing, you can see that actually we stopped at the 50%. That's very interesting as well, isn't it? Because mean reverting markets tend to mean revert, in other words, go back to the mean. And so a reversal of 50% goes back 50% the other way. So it gives us the same kind of level or zone, which is almost where we are at now. In fact, a little bit higher this way. So whichever way you measure it with the fibs, we've got the same kind of support level, and in fact better, because it takes away the chance of that lower one and says, you know what, we're almost here in ontology. So looking for support here or a little bit lower. Because it's a little bit lower, we probably aren't seeing any price action yet. Let's have a look. Not yet. But I am looking for a base here or a little bit lower in ontology, and then a rally. And the next rally, well, let's take these fibs away for now. I'm really looking for 3,977 if we can make a base here. That's the big swing target. Okay, ontology done. ELF, ELF is next. ELF Bitcoin. Another one. This is a crushing rejection at the previous lows and the 200 moving average. So see this 4160 from these spike lows. That's where we've gotten stuck, and the 200 moving average. So we haven't really reversed the trend until we can get it back above those and hold above those previous lows. So now I think because we've got 5 up, let's take a look. Well, yeah, we're going to look for 50 to 61.8 back, somewhere between 50 or 61.8 in this. So somewhere in this zone, between 3,400 and 3,650, we should find support in ELF and turn around and have another go. We should look for 2 waves lower, 3 waves lower. So one down, one up, one down. Looks good so far, doesn't it? And very often they're equal. So let's see if we're there yet in ELF. Yay, we have. We've done it in this one as well. So an ABC equal measured move back to the 50% of the entire rally. This is another one which is right at a level where we should see a rally. If it's going to go up, this is where we'll do it from. So take them away. Let's see. More than the 236 fib confirms that we've stopped going down and we're going up. Okay, 3807. So look for any rally that extends beyond 3807 and closes above it. That says new upswing, and our ABC correction in ELF. And I love this. This is like 5 waves in this final leg as well. There's lots to like about ELF from here, ready to go higher. I'm going to add Leem to the... I've got 5 more to add to the end. Leem did a really nice move, didn't it, on the daily. We'll talk about Leem and targets. Okay, ELF, that's ELF. next one is FET. Fetch AI. This is a new coin. This is an hourly chart of this new coin as well. Very often when new coins launch, they tend to drift sideways. This is listed on Binance, but it's still, you know, a very new coin. And they tend to kind of wallow around and make a bit of a base. I would like to see this. It might retest the lows, maybe a double bottom. Let's see where we are. There really isn't enough price action for a technical trader in this. There isn't enough information, I don't think, to, except for the naked eyeball, to see when it's suddenly running higher. But if we hit a fib level before we make before we retest the lows, 87.61 maybe here, but you know, this one just really needs to settle down and get some interest in it. Nothing is a better fundamental in these coins than price going up. So if it makes a double bottom or a base or starts rallying, people will see that it's tracking higher, and that would be the best thing. But for now, we've had 3 days of dojis when it launched and a down day, so 2 down days. So it just needs to calm down. There really isn't enough information yet, unfortunately, for FET. We'll keep an eye on it though, and I would look for either that level, either, you know, 8,800 or the lows to hold. Double bottom. Now, double bottom is always a really bullish pattern if we break the highs in the middle. So we look for a retest of this, this holds, and then if we break the highs in the middle, like this, which is at 12,500, then we can say we'll go twice this distance higher, which would put us at new highs. So, you know, until then it's flat really. I'm going to look at POE next, and then BNB. POE is here. Not quite a double bottom. So when it stops going down and it doesn't quite retest the lows, you kind of go, oh, why is it not quite? What's here that it might make it stop? It's not a swing. Is it a 113 of this swing? Is it maybe a fib level? And otherwise, you know, the risk is that we do retest this because there's not any other reason for it to stop here. Let's do that 942. So I like it to, yeah, no. These moving averages are still all bearish until we start flipping this around a bit or doing something quite impulsive. I'm afraid that I'm not. I like it to retest the lows first before we make a rally. Now I'm going to take the most recent swing higher to be fair, and let's see how we're doing there on a lower time frame like this. I'll have a look under the hood. Yeah. Oh, I'm not feeling it. Let's see. Okay, we'll take from this spike high. In a lot of altcoins, this 4-hour 200 moving average or the daily 100 moving average are very often king. So I'm going to say if we get above some daily moving averages, I'm going to get excited. But for now, I feel like we're still in a downtrend. This is another little bear flag, and I'd be much more bullish if we retested the lows, you know, it even had a look underneath and ran some stops, and then I think we might see some proper momentum to go higher. For POE at the moment, it's not enough, unfortunately, sorry. So it needs to go sideways, either flip some daily moving averages around. I think if I got above that 4-hour 200, I would say, wow, maybe it is, you know, and that means get above and hold above. So not just run the stop. So get above it and hold above it, and then that would be an interesting buy setup. But for now, I would say I would leave POE alone, and if you're in it and hodling, toughen yourself up for a retest of the all-time lows first before we go anywhere significant. Okay. Computer's frozen again. There we go. Sorry. Right then. BNB. Now this is one of my favorite places to hide my, well, Bitcoin has been going down. Let's take a look at the daily. We'll clean up our chart and we'll start on a daily chart. This is Binance Coin against Bitcoin, and you can see that we're at new highs, and that thing about the correction, this time we've gone from the high to the low. So let me show you. So we've drawn from this high to this low, and we're looking for fib extensions for targets, okay? So the 1272 is our first one, and then the 1.618 is our second target. But because we've been riffing off these first swing here, and these made such perfect targets, I'm going to say I'm looking higher to 2 and to actually 40,780 as my big swing target for Binance Coin, potentially. But for now, we'll go step by step, like climbing a staircase. If we can get a daily close above 30,406, we should see 35,300. So above 30,400, we're looking for 35,300. And this is why I had this chart on a 15-minute chart, because I was looking at what's going on here. And look how we keep staying underneath this 1272. So it's starting to suggest to me that, in fact, we might need to see a second swing of correction. So this will be our first one, and then we'll do a second one like this, and then we rally again. So I haven't bought any BNB yet. I haven't bought BNB back again yet. If we popped above this level and then held it, not just like a pop, but I will buy it tomorrow or as soon as I see it happen. But maybe we need another swing lower first. And if everything's going down and Bitcoin is as well, why not, you know? But this has done really well each time alts have pulled back in the whole, on the whole. I think people are preferring to use Binance Coin than Tether. And so, yeah, it's only got, it's, you know, quite easy to get in and out of this one now. So that's that. Mainframe is next. Now, mainframe. Got messy. Let's clean up my chart. Start again. Look at where we are. Because I'm not feeling the bullish stuff here so much. I need to get it showing you the 20. This bearish cross of the daily moving averages and the shape of the rally here suggests a bear flag and that the downtrend is going to resume in mainframe. And if that, a confirmation of that would be breaking these lows. See these clusters of lows here that we've been sitting on? So this looks like a bear flag shape. In fact, if we look at it on a 4-hour, it's going to look like a little ABC correction is an ABC. So if this breaks down, expect a retest of the lows in mainframe And then if that big red level breaks, which is at 71, then we've got another push lower coming, and we're going to retest these lows down here. So I'm not feeling it yet in mainframe. A retest of the lows that was successful. So because this is pretty good support, look how many times we've tested it and have found support here. So a successful retest of these lows, that would be quite positive. And then a bigger double bottom going on here, that would be pretty good. But at the moment, you know, the momentum says that, you know, we could go higher from here. It's just, it's not following through on the charts. So, yeah, watch out. My chart's frozen, so hold on. Oh, well, here we go. So we've got a bear flag shape. It only is actually a bear flag if we break this trend line, then we can expect a retest of the lows. If we don't, then it's support, because it's actually support, and potentially we could rally from here. I would say if we went more than 50% of this drop, then we would see another swing higher and a third drive. So 50% of this drop at the moment puts us in the middle here at 77. So above 77, potentially another drive higher. Otherwise, watch out for a retest of the lows in mainframe. Not quite ready yet, mainframe. Zen is next. Horizon. Another one that's stuck in a... Let's do Horizon 50%. Went just a little bit beyond, so that means 61.8, 38.2, perfect. So we know where our support is. And we're sitting on it in Horizon. Okay, so when you, remember, when you reverse it to 61.8, your first target, minimum target, is back to the 38.2. And if we did a little ABC here, then potentially, which I think we did, we could rally from here. Chart's frozen, so you can't see it, but there we go. It's not quite. So a pullback in pullback after a very nice bounce in Horizon. Let's look and see if this great level, and it is a really good level, at 136,740, which comes from these highs. See these highs here, these highs here. Here we are testing at support. Let's see if we can turn higher from here. How will we know if we have turned enough to be going up again? 236 fit. So, oh, sorry. So, if we trade above 142,209, we would be going higher. That will put us above those 4-hour moving averages as well. That'd be very nice. There you go. 142,200. Be nicer there. I know. No. It's just, the thing is, we could say, oh, it's this computer, but we've got a Mac here, and we've had exactly the same problem with a Mac today. I said to James, it feels like we're under an attack, you know. Maybe they found where we live and they're attacking us. Denial of something. Anyway, hopefully not. Let's look at BTT next. So looking to see if we can bounce from here in Horizon, and back above 142,200 would confirm. Next one we're going to look at is BTT. Every page I've got this alert, haven't I? It's going to be the bane of my life. Wait, BTT. BitTorrent. So let's start on our daily. So this, I'm going to move my big fibs to this whole big swing here. Right, we know that it's respecting these fibs because the 236 is like my touchstone. If it behaves at that level, this is a daily chart of BitTorrent against dollar. I'm going to do BitTorrent chart again. I'm going to do BitTorrent against Bitcoin in a minute. But for now, we'll look at these fibs. So 236 was a good support and resistance. 382 was, and then this 50% we tried to bounce here, couldn't hold it. And now today we've got rejected at this 50% retrace level as well. So we're going to say that 618 is next. So 6883 is our next Fibonacci support. We're also going to measure where an equal measured move might take us. I'm going to try and do it simply with this trend line, but no, the computer's not having it. Try again. Yeah, that's a little bit lower, isn't it? Anyway, let's say we're going to climb this Fibonacci staircase and 6883 is next. We should see a decent bounce from there. I am wrong if we get back above this 8,021 level. So if we look at this on an hourly and see what we've done today, you can see it back above 8,021. I'm wrong, this downtrend is over, but otherwise this should roll over and 6883 next support. Okay, not ready in BitTorrent Tether yet then. BitTorrent Bitcoin, let's see if that helps us any. The reason why we look at it against dollar, of course, is because it's got these, because it's such big fat ticks, the candles don't look right, do they? That's the problem. Come on. Sorry, we're going to be here all night at this rate. Here we go. So again, this was the 50% level. Let's take the measured moves away. This was the 50% level. It didn't hold, but the fibs are working pretty nicely. So I think we can say that the 61.8 next is probably likely support. If I draw the fibs this way as well, this would be a bullish Gartley pattern. So if this is wave 1, 2, 3, okay, let's do this. And I'm going to go to a 4-hour chart now and zoom out a bit. Okay. So remember, in a bullish Gartley pattern, you bounce from the 618 fib, and then you drop and you lose it the next one, and then you find support at the 618. The best Gartley patterns have equal ABCs. So this would be our, it's not quite an equal ABC unless we drop a little bit lower, but the 786 is the important thing. And also, so we've got that here. We'll take that away. And then also the fib projection from this rally. So we're looking for 1272. Here, see if it lines up. And it does. So in BTT Bitcoin, we've got a little bit lower and a bullish Gartley pattern here. So we're looking for lower in both of these. But 17 is your bullish Gartley pattern entry level in BitTorrent. So I've got Raven on the list. Okay, so now we're going to do some extra requested coins. We're going to do, in this order, 6 more. ZIL, Raven, QKC, Bluezell, Loom, and Loom. 5 coins. Okay. So let's go with ZIL. Zilliqa. And hopefully the charts keep behaving. Zilliqa. So this is the daily chart of Zilliqa. We've got this big fat trading range. I would really like it if we were building, if we look big picture here at this big drop, I would really like it if we built a big spectacular head and shoulders pattern here. And if we did, then I like them to have symmetry, and if we did, then potentially we've got a little bit lower to form this right shoulder if it's equal distance back to as the left shoulder is. So still in a downtrend, slowing down. Let's draw the fibs from this swing. Okay, so we've drawn from, and we'll see where we're at and where we might get support and what we did at the other levels. Okay. So this was our 618 level. 418 is our next support, and that's where I'd be looking for next in terms of fib levels. And I've got my RSI on here. Let's find the CCI. What the hell have I done? There we go. I put my RSI on here because I was looking for bullish divergence, and there is bullish divergence on this. This is where the oscillator makes new lows, but the oscillator doesn't make new low, but price is making new lows. This says that this is running out of it says it's running out of downside strength, momentum. The trend is running out of strength, and so we are likely to reverse soon. It's not a signal, it's not a trigger that says buy now. It's just a warning that we should be looking for next reversals. So next reversal 418 is the level in ZIL Bitcoin. Not quite there yet. So if we wanted to front run the level, or if I'm wrong about the level, or whatever, what would tell us that we've stopped going down for sure? Again, use from the highs, and if we go more than the 236 fib, then that says we've stopped going down for sure. So we do that from the high to this low, and we mark where that is. Let's do it so we can see it on this messy chart here, 482. So if Zilliqa stops going down here and gets back above 482, I think it'll be a nice buy, and that would be see another swing higher. But otherwise, I think there's room to squeeze a little bit lower before we turn up again. Not far though, 418. And then look for some bullish price action in Zilliqa. Let's do Raven. Now, ta-da! Raven coin today stopped at this 618 level. So between the 618 and the 382 is called the golden ratio zone. And in the middle, this 50% level, I'm going to make it in red because it's really important. The 50% level acts like a pivot, and it's usually very good support and resistance. That's at 656. So in Raven, we're not going to, 656. If we're above it, we're looking higher. If we're below it, we're looking lower. We've already gone once, 618, 382, and bounced off it. And we're back at this 50% level again. So you could put small longs here on in Raven with a stop underneath this 656, so maybe 650 to keep a tight stop, because if we drop here, we're going to see a second swing lower, and we're going to do one of those Gartley things. But for now, this is sideways consolidation, not pulling back too far, and back above 747, the uptrend resumes in Raven. So back below 656, look for 584 to be retested, and potentially we would do one more little push lower to the 236 fib, but not looking likely. I think it's more likely we go sideways in this zone, make a bull flag or a pennant, and then up we go again. So yeah, short term, that 50% level in the middle is it, 656. Shouldn't go back below this if we're going to keep going higher. Okay? Good luck in Raven. Okay, next one we're going to go to is QKC. Fine QKC. That's okay because we'll just draw it here. Q. Just wallowing around this one. Right. I'm going to get all the way from this high to this low. Okay, because we've had one swing higher. We're looking to do this again and get back to 1626 next swing up. The question is then, when does this going to start from? Frozen screen, everybody. Sorry, just patience. Perhaps you have some patience for me. Okay. So we've been trying to hold on here in quark chain, haven't we? If we've drawn this and this is the 50% back that we're looking at, it's really trying to hold on to it. Sideways, bunched up moving averages, really kind of tight little range here in the middle, and trying to have a go. I would really like to see this break higher and have a go and get out of this sideways range, mainly because this looks a bit double toppy to me and we've broken the low in the middle. So potentially, whilst we stay under this low here, see what I mean? Here's one high, here's a second high, this is the confirmation level in the middle, and this confirmation level in the middle is what's become resistance. It's at 897. So 897 becomes our breakout reversal level if we're going to get out of trouble and rally. And whilst we stay underneath it, the risk is in quark chain that we go twice this distance. That's going to be ugly. So look. Oh, I can't do anything because of this. Flipping. Keeps freezing. Here we go. Back to the lows. 358. 358. So what are we going to do here? Well, you know, when it's got this look, see this? This is, if this breaks down, I would just sell quark chain. And even if you love the project and it's the greatest thing ever, if this trend line and these bunched up moving averages here on this 4-hour break down, sell it. Because you can buy it back later. And if I'm wrong, and I'm completely wrong, and it, you know, it does a false breakdown and then rallies like a bastard, then buy it back again above 900. Because at least above 900, you know it's going up. Okay? But for now, I think the chances are it's more likely going down. Okay? Sorry. Blue Zal next. One of Ian Bellina's little shill coins. Here we go. Quite a good project, Blue Zal, though it's an infrastructure project, isn't it? Now this has got a really cool looking bottom. Before we ever put fibs on, I drew these support and resistance levels in red, but I might try and tidy up this chart. Because they're just support and resistance levels. And the key thing is, from this, we talk about the tooth from this high to this low, is this 236 fib. It's got huge support and resistance that lines up with it. 1348. Only a close above 1348 means we're going up. We've had a really good attempt at it. We went way beyond it and then still came back and closed underneath it. So the risk is nothing to do. Plus we got quite kind of oversold, so overbought, sorry, so we're due a bit of a dip back. I think with this false breakout pattern that we might come back a little bit further than people want, unfortunately. Now, at the moment, we're kind of holding above the 50%, 1267. That would be good, but I think it's more likely that we've done a 618 thing. So let's make it all. There we go. we are in that 618 thing. So I'm just going to hide this one for a second. So look, 618382, this is the box we're going to knock back and forward within. So we're going to be long, we're bullish back above 1320, and we're bearish underneath 1214 for another swing lower. And in between, we could go back and forward here a few times in blue Zell. I would really like this to see this go high, but this is one of those, you know, when I say, you know, we bounce, we go 50%, then we retest the lows. I think this will be one of these and blue Zell before we then have another go at going higher. So I'm going to go back to the daily and switch back the fibs again. I don't think I can do this much longer. This keeps freezing. Okay. I just would like to put those fibs back on so we can look at some targets. You never know. Here we go. There we go. So we're going to look for a retest of 1348 first off. That's the fib level that we've got to close above if we're going to keep going higher. So our first target, if you buy it, is a retest of 1348, and then 1564 would be the 200-day moving average and the 382 next. But because of this pattern, when you do this base and you go sideways, I think we should go to the 50% at 1739 at least next. So 1564 and then 1739. If we can turn around and go higher again, yeah, in blue Zell. I like it. I do like, look at this. That's a lovely rounded bottom look, you know. It's got a great look. Okay, Loom is last. Let's look at the weekly first in Loom, because this coin's got a bit of history, hasn't it? So, first off, we had a really lovely rally and a pullback that didn't make a new low, and we're going to have another leg. So really, we should be saying, let's look for at least an ABC correction from here. So we'll measure like this. So we're going to say first upside target should be 1948 and then potentially 2490. That'd be very nice. So got a little bit further to go. If we do that, the problem is that we're stuck at this 50% level for now. That's where the high was and where we've stalled. 50% of this drop. So let's go back to the daily. What did we do then? So we went 50% that way and then pulled back. Where did we come back to? 50% and a little bit. So we've done that 50% thing. We should be looking for this to keep going to new highs. I think what we need to see is a close, a daily close above that 50%, sorry, 382 level. Damn, I got it wrong. So 1589, as long as we close above 1589, we're going to look for 1748 next. We're going to go fib level by fib level. Each one of these, you see the 236 was solid, respected. The 382's messy. 50% levels are not messy. They're usually sharp. So we can expect a pullback there in this one, in Loom. So 1748 and then a pullback and then 1907. I didn't have the fib level drawn properly before, my apologies. So another way you know, when you're above the 200 moving average, you really can go quite a long way. So when somebody said, you know, when we get above the 200 moving average, how do you look for targets? Well, first of all, in this one, I'm going to look for the big swing that we're inside of, because we're really inside of this big swing, aren't we? So I'm going to draw my fibs for big targets from here, from this high to low. Because although I'm looking at this one short term, once we go beyond 50%, really, I should be looking at this bigger swing. Okay, and then we're going to say again, we'll just borrow this trend line, a rally that's kind of ABC of this, equal measured move would be very nice, wouldn't it? And 50%. So 27.51 I would be looking for next after this 382. Next leg, see if 27.51. But if we stop, it's going to be at 61.8 of this first leg. Doesn't line up with anything. So when it doesn't line up with anything, it makes me think either I've drawn this wrong, which might be true, and this is the most recent swing lower, in which case that makes a lot more sense. So this first leg was to the 50% and we've come back. So that's nice because the fib rule says in harmonic patterns, when your first leg, your A leg, goes to a 50% or less, then the second leg goes at least 1.618 of the correction. So that means at least here, okay. So from this swing, 24.21, and that now let's see if that lines up with anything going this way. Yeah, it does, look. Okay. I'm always looking for confluence. Or, well, I'm looking for my charts to not freeze, but then I'm looking for confluence. So I'm going to say the harmonic pattern target for this is 3224. So we'll test these highs, first target, and then 3224. Have I looked at Stella? I did not. I looked at Stella briefly. You think it's about to mean? Should we have a look? Okay. Now, I think you could be right. When I look at the daily chart, it does look like we had a 5-wave rally off the low, and it does look like we're making an ABC correction. So we turn higher again in Lumen. This is Lumen dollar, and then I'm going to look at Lumen Bitcoin. Okay, so in terms of Lumen dollar as well, if I put I'm looking at 50% of this low to high, we're sitting on that. So we're sitting at a really good place to rally from. This is actually the 61.8. A really good place to rally from in Lumen. We just need to see that bullish price action. So if we do, and if we do get the bullish reversal we're looking for from here, we're going to take the most recent swing lower in this one as well. We're going to look for a second leg that takes us to 50% back in Lumen. That would be our bearish target. Anything beyond that is more bullish. So in other words, this would be our first swing higher, pull back to here, and then our second swing higher takes us up there. Now, if we fail there, or if we don't go more than 50% of this most recent swing lower, then we're still likely to continue the downtrend. If we go beyond that level in 0.11, then our next leg higher will take us back to the 200 moving average. But we really have, at the moment, there's no reason to listen to me and say, oh God, quick buy Lumen, because we have no bullish price action to justify us buying it, and we're underneath daily moving averages. Okay, it would not be a good idea at all. I would connect these highs like this, because this is really a kind of triangle. And I would wait for the breakout in XLM dollar. And above this blue line, or more than 50% of this drop, I would say fine, jump in. If we look at Lumen Bitcoin, perhaps we can have a better idea. So we've got a pretty good basing pattern here. What I like about this is how we've bunched all the moving averages up. But again, this is not saying I'm going higher yet, is it? It's just saying I'm going sideways in a downtrend at a really good level. It's a really good level. There's lots to like about it, but until it breaks to the upside. Now, if we do break these highs and we get above the 50 moving average, where is our target going to be? It's going to be this 200 moving average here at 3236 first. That's going to be your first target. So it's not, and at the moment it's sideways. There's no trend at all. The 20 moving average has gone flat. If we break the highs, this triple top high we've got going on, then yeah, like I will like it. The look for another leg higher. Okay, and Ripple if you can. Coinbase didn't do much. Okay, no. So I'm going to clean up my Ripple chart, and I think that Ripple Bitcoin has a little bit further to go. And we'll talk about why. Let's go to the daily chart. We'll take moving averages off for now. And clean up here. Okay. To me, this looked like a really solid impulsive move. And now we're in a big correction. Look, this choppy overlapping stuff in Ripple is a correction. And then I think we should see at least another really strong, solid, impulsive move higher. The question is, where is it going to begin? Well, if this was the first, this ABC down here was the first in a bigger correction. So we've done a big A leg, a big B leg, and this is a big C leg. Then the first place that we should look for this to finish is where we are at 61.8 of the first leg. And in Ripple Bitcoin, that means a little bit lower at 72.16. And we're not quite there yet. So a little bit of patience. We are sitting, you know, on the 50% back, but we've been down to the 61.8. And so because we might not do this and go back to the bottom in the 61.8 again, I would say fine, we might break out. And I've drawn it as a channel because I can draw easily 2 touches on the bottom and 2 touches on the top using parallel lines. So that says to me that strongly that this is a channel, and therefore if we break out of this channel, I think that the downtrend will probably be over in Ripple Bitcoin, and then we can jump in. So put an alarm on this upper trend line. This is a 4-hour chart I'm looking at, if you don't want to miss it. So we've got an alert now on this upper trend line, and we'll see. And at the moment, it's really slowed down. It is sideways, but I'm just not ruling out one more swing lower to this 61.8 level, which would be at 72.16. So if Bitcoin did one more shove lower, that may be where Ripple goes down if it goes down hard as well. Okay, I've done ZEC. You have to rewind for that one. Okay, so that's Ripple Bitcoin. Look, let's see Ripple dollar or Tether. Let's do Tetherus this time. Now, there's lots to like about Ripple Tether, because big picture, I do think that this has gone ABC up, ABC down, and we should be on our way higher again, and it's just floundering. This is a 4-hour chart of Ripple Tether. Why do I think we've done the down? Because if I measure from that high to low, wait, up here, we've been going sideways around this 61.8 level. Look, I measured from there to there, and I projected it from here. And we've been going back and forward at this 618 level, holding on to it. So what does that mean? I think it means, well, we don't want to lose this support level as a support, do we, really? In Ripple, let's put it that way. We'll draw it with its widest conclusions like this. And we're going to say if we do draw that, lose that support line, we're probably going to come back down to these lows here and a whole nother leg lower. So sideways, not on support, and it has a little bit of a bear flag look, doesn't it? To be honest, it does. So it doesn't make me want to buy Ripple yet. If we, although I am looking for it eventually to go higher, it's not saying quite ready yet, really. That's all. Sorry. Okay, I think I've done everything. I'll have a look on Pundy for you. Thank you. And the way, okay, so the way you join my group, if on the Facebook page, it says strategy group. If you go to my Facebook page, which is Facebook, Nick Trades on Facebook, NICTRADES, there's a button that says strategy group. If you click on that, you can ask to join. It's not very much. It's £25 a month. And you can stay a whole month, and if you don't like it, or you didn't have time for it, because we do spend quite a lot of time looking at charts, then you get your money back. So I think that's a really good deal. Like, how is that not a great deal, right? You can learn everything and then leave. Luckily for me, most people don't do that. Okay? All right then. So, Pundy. I've got Pundy on an hourly chart because I've been looking for Pundy to find support and turn higher here. My computer's frozen, so we have to wait for a minute. We'll tap our fingers. Okay. So I've drawn this fib from this low to this high, and we're in that box between the 618 and the 382 here, but we extended a bit, didn't we, to the 236. Consolidation. I like this in the middle here to find support and turn higher again. I think Pundy is making, whilst we hold these moving averages like this, I can't get rid of sod all. Okay, let's try again. These daily moving averages are very strong support where Pundy is sitting right here, and it's 50% back of this rally. What I'm looking for Pundy to do is turn higher from here and go back to this neckline level. Okay, and if Pundy can do that, this is Pundy Ethereum because Pundy Bitcoin is so hard to chart. 580 Pundy ETH, that's the chart. If we trade above 580, then we've made a pullback inverted head and shoulders bottom, and we're going to do another leg higher, which takes us back to these highs here at around 850. So really good, important level for us to turn higher. I was looking at this today on a lower time frame because that rule I told you about, where if we go higher than the 236 fib, we're probably on our way up again in Pundy. That's where we couldn't get past today. So short term, here, see this level, 507, an hourly close above 507 says Pundy's going up again against ETH. So let's take a look at it against Bitcoin. I actually prefer to chart it against dollar than this, just because it's such funky ticks, but. So the same thing, we got knocked back, but we've got really good support here from this daily 50 moving average. I'm looking for a Pundy Bitcoin to turn higher from here as well. But, you know, it's such a tight range between 21 and 17. You can't really draw in that 236 fib. So let's just say that if we look at these highs, 18, you can see what we need to see for it to go higher. I am looking for it to rally from here in Pundi. So where are we going to go, Pundi Bitcoin? Well, we've got to retest these highs again at 20. And only if we can get above 21 are we going up. Until then, Stucksville. If we can get above 21, our target is 36, Pundi Bitcoin. 36. This would be us, so again, above the 200 moving average. We should see a really strong move. This is a head and shoulders pattern as well. So that means a rally from here would go twice this distance. So it's a messy one anyway. My chart keeps freezing, so I can't draw it. So we should go at least twice this distance there. That takes us to 30, and then the first fib target is 36. So Pundi's still going higher. Okay, next one is Komodo. Then what's the time? Then we've done 2.5 hours, so people are going to be bored and dropping like flies, and we'll call it a day. I'm just going to find Komodo. Damn, that 236 fib. Look at it. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out in Komodo. I'm going to try to zoom out. Okay, so I drew my fibs from the high that we made in December 2017. So more than a year, these fibs, okay? This is December 2017 to the low that we made in November 2018. That was this big swing, this last big swing lower in Komodo Bitcoin. Okay, and then I messed it up. Then I put it back again and locked it. Okay, and the 236 is where we stopped dead, stopped flat. That is a bit unfortunate, but it was also a target. If we said this was a big head and shoulders pattern, which I think it was, this red line was our neckline. So then if we measure from this low to our neckline, we hit our head and shoulders target as well at this level. So now we're going to look for a pullback. We're going to look for an ABC pullback and then 3 waves and then continue up again in Komodo, or at least see if we can have another go at that 236 fib. So I'm not tempted to buy it at the moment, even though we are bouncing pretty nicely off that neckline. It's weird that we haven't tagged the 4-hour 200 moving average either. So let's see. It was pretty disappointing that Komodo couldn't quite go beyond the target, but okay. Now you can see if we measure this swing and project it from this high, we are at the 61.8 level here. So potentially if we get a bullish reversal here, we could resume the other uptrend. If we don't and we make a new low or we continue lower, which it looks like it's threatening to do, then 20,000 in Komodo if we drop below the red line at 22,365. So 2 things are going to happen. We're either going to retest this low and hold support and make a base here, or if we lose this red line, we're going to go to 20,000. Either way, it's not ready to buy yet, is it? Ready to buy would be, take that away, from this high to this low, above the 236 fib. So above 24,459, we would be going, okay, we're going up. Okay. I'm going to do, okay, that's it. These are the last 2. DGB, no problem, hi Bojan, and Zcash, okay? So Digibyte. Now in Digibyte, this is a daily chart of Digibyte. We had a big bounce from the 786 fib. We bounced all the way up to the 382 and a big ABC, everything good. And now we're retesting this low in this 786 fib level. I don't know if we're going to go higher from here, but I think if we go beyond the 236 fib again, which is 338, we probably are. So until then, this is just sideways at a support level in a downtrend. So not compelling yet. Now, there's lots to suggest that we are going to at least go back to the top of this range and test it. First of all the way down, see these daily moving averages, the pink and the blue, okay, all the way down. Let's get rid of that. We were underneath them, and the 20 below the 50 is bearish. For the first time in all of this downtrend, for the first time really since last July, we've got a bullish cross of these moving averages. That usually means that we're going to flip it and go at least back to the 200 moving average and this high. So I think on this pullback, we should go at least, 320. That's where I'm going to say these previous highs. So I'm looking for this to, hold for support soon and then carry on one more push higher back to the top of the range, because we've got a double bottom and that's the double top level. Now the first time we get up there, especially, I can't draw anything, this is so, the first time we get up there, especially with the 200 moving average there as well, we will bounce off it. We're not going to carry on higher first time we get back there. And so we might get a bit of a knockback, but then if we can break above 320, that will say higher, especially with this double bottom. So the first place we're going to go is then twice this distance, aren't we? Because of this double bottom. So that gives us a target of 408. So if we can close above 321, our first target is 408, and then we should just draw fibs on this most recent swing back on again and see where that takes us. So 407 is the 382 fib as well. So lots lining up there for a really good target. 407, 408 is our target if we can trade above 320. Okay, and then Z cash. So let's see where we are looking for support then in Digibyte, because it's looking pretty good just down here on the hourly. Even this starting to make a base down here. Let's say if we get above 287, then we're on our way up again. That's probably, yeah, 287, looking good. I like how it's making a base here on the hourly and the 15-minute. So let's see. Just need that swing to turn. Looks good to me. Just got to get back above this hourly 200 moving average and hold above it, more importantly. So that means, so if we mark where that is at we said 287, didn't we? So 284 is the level. So it's got to get above and then hold on. Hold on for the ride then. Okay? Just because this is one of those irregular corrections. Down chart. Yeah. Good luck in digibyte, and then Zcash, finally Zcash. Oh, we've done Zcash already. We did that earlier in the thing. You have to rewind. It was after AION and before rep. Okay? All right then, Ramesh, I've already done it. You have to rewind. Sorry. It was like, feels like hours ago. Okay, everyone. See you next Monday. Thanks for coming. Let's finish up with Bitcoin. So there's two scenarios that we're looking at in Bitcoin, okay? The first thing is, because this was 5 waves up, let's say this was not a wedge. Okay, let's say this was a bottom. Okay, we've done wave 1 and this is a big wave 2. And this wave here is wave 1 of 3. If that's the case, then we're going to find support somewhere pretty soon between this 50 and 61.8. So almost where we are now, actually. So we're going to find some support around here, I think, and we're going to see the next swing higher be really strong. If it is, and we turn higher from here with a really strong, powerful move higher, I think that we can say probably the bottom is in and we're looking good. Where are we going to go? Well, we're going to go back to these highs at 4,100, and then 4,300 for me is a really big level. And this high here, see this 4386? This is what reverses. It doesn't look like much, but this is what reverses the trend. Remember, this is the last swing lower on the daily. So if we get above that, we've reversed the daily trend. Okay, we're now making higher highs. All the time we're underneath this level, we're not really going anywhere. We're just going sideways. So 4,300, 4,400 on some exchanges. This is really the level to beat. Okay? And then if we do, then big round number 5,000, which is where the daily 200 moving average is lurking, is where we will see next. Now, one of the things that adds weight to this is this daily 100 moving average, which previously has been really good support and a good indicator for Bitcoin. Look here, this is this moving average here, 100, 100. It nailed the high in February, and it nailed the high here when we tested it a few times in September and in November. Now we're above the 100 moving average for the first time. Maybe if we hold this on a retest and do a powerful move from here, then that will be something. Okay, now that's the bullish. Those are the bullish scenarios. Okay, I'm going to take that 100 moving average off again. Okay, here's the bearish scenario. We are possibly this kind of overlapping wedge sideways pattern is very often an Elliott wave triangle. Okay, that's usually 5 legs or 7, and if it's 5 legs, okay, then it's going to end up like this. So from the lows, we're going to go. This is A, B, C, D. Now sometimes that's usually a false breakout. E, false breakout, and then we'll see another leg lower. We'll either retest this low, or we maybe go, 3,000, or potentially, because Bitcoin loves to spike stuff, 2,400, that level I've been waiting for a long time. So, but before we get suicidal about this, fifth waves fail a lot more than most Elliott wave people will tell you. They do fail. Secondly, all we have to do is make a marginal new low under this low here at 3,095 to qualify. So we could just tag that 3,000 level and bounce hard from it. So until I'm sure which one of which is going on here, I'm literally buying a little Bitcoin and then waiting to see, and then, so on, and doing it that way. So these third touches of these trend lines, remember, they're quite likely to be false breakouts this way and this way, and then one more leg lower, if that's how this plays out as a triangle. And in that case, we need to be really patient. Now, one of the things that's not going to help Bitcoin today is there's a huge sell-off starting in stocks. I think we're going to see a big down week in stocks. And if we stock indexes, and if we see a big down week in stock indexes, we could see a big down week here in Bitcoin too. It'll be a bit of a dampener. But there are some diamonds out there. I mean, look at what some of these nice coins have done, like Loom and Loopring and Raven. You know, some of them have had amazing rallies. It's just you have to look really hard to find the good ones. So okay, thank you, Spencer Mulder. That's very nice of you. Right, everyone, see you next week. Bye. Sorry for the technical issues.